Process accurate.
Clever.
Unexpected.
We can handle it! Let's detach that armor! Ah! The control room should be off to the right. I hope we're doing the right thing.
System
Get going! Can't get past that armor! keep from me.
Processing. Beginning signal. Self-diagnostics complete. Navigation systems operational. Combat systems operational. It's not the best choice. It's the... All systems fully operational. Return journey successfully completed. Spacer's Choice would like to thank you for complying with your duties. Hostile actions towards Spacer's Choice mechanics are contrary to logical directive. Conclusion: all hostile automechanicals must be defective in compliance with Spacer's Choice policy. All defective automechanicals. Affirmative. Mechanicide protocols loaded.
Away, Phantom! No, just leave me alone! No, 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 just leave me alone. Go away, Phantom. You're not real. You're not real. Get away from me, Phantom. Shoot, scram. You can talk? The Phantom's never talked before. Oh, I knew I shouldn't have eaten that sprat raw. See, Higgins? This is why you must always boil your sprats before ingesting. Of course. Do excuse me. I experienced brief flashes of mania during which I'm Chester D. Higgins. The D stands for definitely... Hard to say. By my reckoning, Higgins has been here somewhere between 2 weeks and forever. Oh, Higgins has been many things over the years. Sprat Wrangler, Saltuna Critic, Aetherwave Personality, Chairman of the Board, Galactic Defender, Sisty Pig Tycoon. I've come a long way for someone who started off as a simple engineer right here in this... I specialized in automechanicals, drones, sentries, repaired them, Look, I don't want to fall into any trouble with the mechanicals. If they wise up to our plans... You know, you remind me of myself back... I discovered a flaw. Their hostility levels were hardwired to maximum. There's no changing that, but you could rewrite their targeting protocols. Yes, that's exactly it. I see you're also versed in the noble art of... There's a behavior control terminal in the other room. It should have options to... Oh, that reminds me. You'll need my passcode to access the behavior control terminal. Here, let me just write it. The tail. Jimmy'd opened the vending machines. That lasted a good couple of months. Eventually, I had to resort to more Mechanicals lost their bolts. Opened fire on anything that moved. You mean, why did the mechanicals go on a murderous rampage? Same reason. I was on cleaning duty at the time. My old boss had me scrubbing pipes when the killing started.
Any luck find? No kidding. The geothermal plant? Now that is just incredible. You really went... That's a complete set. All 3 parts. I'm gonna be the... aside from you,
I'm glad we could help, Tom.
I've been saving something for you. Just a little
What is it? We didn't always get along, but I'm glad to know. Zoe joined up with a band of marauders. Zoe. The same Zoe who doesn't know a barrel from a trigger. You pretty much did my job for me. At least, let me know if I can do something for you.
If you're falling sick, I don't want you near me.
It's not music. Work your job. Music.
Bring us honors. Bang up work, soldier. You're a credit to your uniform. Oh, that reminds me. Gotta look into getting us a uniform. I would reward you with the gratitude of the resistance, but I'm guessing you want something
It's not the best. Music to my...
Almost lost a finger.
I've never actually been in here. Seemed scary from the outside.
Something to report? We pay by the finger. Gil Antrim. Real name, Guillaume. Duly processed by a freelancer on behalf of Spacer's Choice. I remember him. Was just a kid last I saw him. I'll just need your signature here, 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 and here. Mabel Burgess. Age 37. Right or left-handed? Let's just say no longer applicable. I remember Doc Burgess. Conducted my physical every fiscal quarter. Guess she couldn't keep her hands off her patient's medicine. Still one outstanding bounty. If you've got a finger, I've got the paperwork. Here we are. Bertie Cotton. Cause of death. Let's just say overwhelming physical trauma. Bert was the local preacher before Max took over. Always was quick to remind us that we all get what we deserve in the end. Well, that's all three. I must remember to requisition some more fingerprint to ink. Here's all the compensation you've earned, plus a bonus. You've done such a bang-up job hunting down our former workers that I thought it only proper to deputize you. Congratulations. Let me stop you there. It is official Spacer's Choice policy that all Marauders, regardless of prior affiliation to the Spacer's Choice brand, no longer qualify as our people. Ever since the company first settled the Vale. Life's good out here, but it ain't easy. Some folk can't keep pace with the demands of frontier life. Not everyone's cut out to work in Edgewater. Some turn deserter, some turn marauder. None of them get my sympathy. Uh-huh. I recall young Eugene. Good kid. Nice smile. Fussy about his health, though. Says so right on the warning label. Violent psychosis is a What's on your... As
Almost lost a finger in the cannery today.
Let the boss catch you.
once we do this, there's no... Excuse me, ma'am. Look, I know you want your power regulator and all, but I just gotta ask you. Do you understand what... I don't think you should cut off Edgewater's power. I think it would be cruel. I'm sorry. Edgewater's hurting. We've been losing workers year after year, and corporate hardly ever sends replacements. There's barely enough saltuna to fill our bellies anymore. But the town's got some good people in it. Decent, hard... Miss McDevitt's built something beautiful. Somehow, she's talked the ground into giving life. It's plain to see she's made the Vale a better place. Fed the hungry, tended the sick. But Miss McDevitt delights in Edgewater's suffering. She... That sure sounds like Mr. Thompson. If he was standing here, I imagine he'd remind us of how we're all one big pap. In Mr. Thompson's eyes, those deserters are still part of the space. I hate to say it, but I think Mr. Sorry, I didn't mean to... Really? I mean...
Home is where the heart is. Marauders took that saying a little too literally.
Everybody keeps staring at me. It's not my fault the power...
I don't know what you did to talk some sense into...
Zoe says she fought her way out of a marauder camp with her own bear.
I know, I'm trying to think. That's the thing about growing old. Your eyes start to fail. Elsewise, I would have seen you for the snake that you are, chopped you into pieces and roasted you on a spit. This is all you're doing. Cutting off my power, killing off my garden. Without refrigeration, my food will spoil, and my flock will starve. I want to ask you this in private, away from the eyes of my flock, so they do not see me lose my temper. Tell me, why did you do it? You killed my garden, destroyed my community, sentenced my flock to a lifetime of slavery in Edgewater for a power regulator. Well, shit, I wish it was personal. Go talk to Grace and Thomas. Look them in the eye and tell them their life here is over, and the only thing left to do is go back to Edgewater. This is now your responsibility. And you tell Reed Thompson that I will never return to Edgewater. I would rather die among my flowers than live under his management. My son worked in that cannery. When we had a store of medicine locked away, but Reed refused to treat him. Said, so I buried my boy in the cemetery, gathered my belongings. As long as Reed is still in Ed... You offering to cross Reed off, huh? This some sort of twisted reparation for what you've done? Or you just kill Reed if you must, or talk him into leaving if you can. He and I are not sharing the same four walls together. Tell Reed that I can make his people healthy again. I can end their plague. Start a new garden right in the cannery. 3 square meals for every... Tell him how I've made the Vale bloom again. The soil has whispered its secret. The secret is human corpses. I've been grinding them up in my fertilizer for years. Marauder, worker. I have got a means to cure the plague, and I will not share that cure until...
Sorry. I've been thinking about going back. Not much. I get sick thinking about working at the cannery. You know something? I think you're right. The town could use another engineer. I could do a lot of good in Edgewater. Maybe even keep a garage of my own with a little workbench and... It's just... Adelaide's never gonna forgive me. Not in 100... Adelaide hates Edgewater, hates everything Edgewater. We're the nearest she's got to kin. You know where to find.
Marauders can't see us in the dark. The matter's been... Zoe came back, but I couldn't keep her from slipping out in the front. I don't see us lasting more than a couple of weeks out here. I'm loath to admit it. We're gonna have... Listen, we go back to Reed, hat in hand, begging for our old jobs back. Edgewater's not just a town to Adelaide. It's a symbol of everything that's... We're the closest... Sure.
Another day at the cannery.
Don't go knocking your work. At least we've got...
Wonder if the plague's ever been solved.
This is a fine day, friend. Power flows through our... I trust Adelaide's people have seen their way to reason. Then we are at an impasse. Stewardship over this town has been entrusted. I am not perfect. I have made my share of... I am not without compassion for Abernathy's predicament, but I am a Spacer's Choice man. My father was a Spacer's Choice man. I don't believe you. Plague's a reality of... The very notion is just grotesque. A raw vegetable? Why don't you just... We are a Spacer's Choice Saltuna cannery. We eat processed, liquefied, retextured Saltuna rendered in a chemical bath, of course. We've added wood chips, some mushrooms, bit of sand, tossed some canid bits in our processor once. It all tastes like salt. Couple years, give or take, right around the time the first wave of plague. Now listen, I do not know what pretty rhetoric Adelaide... You'll excuse me for being skeptical. How exactly is... And when you say special fertilizer... Adelaide has been using dead bodies in her fertilizer? That's... Come to think of it, that's a stroke of brilliance. What a remarkably efficient solution. Recycling Spacer's Choice property long after its date of expiration. I was wondering about those. So, Adelaide wants me gone. Trade my life for the life of the town. If I leave town, I'm as good as dead. If I stay, Edgewater will die of attrition. Adelaide has discovered some secret cure for the plague, and she is holding... If Adelaide's found a way to feed her people and cure the plague, my life here is ended. Give me a little time to settle my affairs. I'm sure Adelaide will be glad to see the back of me. A couple months ago, I might have put in for a transfer. It's a big colony. Spacer's Choice has other towns. Now, no such thing as an honorable resignation. Suppose I could find a place out... I don't know. I could... I have always tried to do right by my town. It is never... I do. Adelaide's found a cure for the plague, and she knows how to tend a crop.
Okay, keep it quiet.
Look at that. The snake's I never thought I'd see the day that Reed Thompson abandoned his post. Suppose we all have a breaking point. Suppose it's time our flock made our way back to Edgewater. We must tend to what remains of the town and carry... You're vexing to me, you know? Injuring us with one hand, helping us with the other. Here, I'm giving you something to leave us be. It's a ransom, you understand, not a reward. You telling me you did all this just to put me in charge of Edgewater? Stranger, you are some kind of twisted. I might turn that old cannery into a garden. Got ourselves a whole cemetery bursting with... I need some time to gather my personals. Long walk back to Edgewater.
Sorry. Adelaide said that? Was she sober at the time? I never imagined she... Something must have changed in Edgewater.
Never liked Reed much.
Don't see why Thomas can't just get the generator. Something I can help.
Is this your ship? Oh my stars, she is just so handsome. Oh, gosh. Listen to me babbling. When I was in Edgewater, I'm the only decent mechanic Edgewater's got, but every time Oh, it's kind of you to say that. I want to ask you something, and you can say no. But can I come with you? And if you ever need a pair of eyes watching your back, I can do that too. Yeah, I've been... Edgewater was on the verge of collapse before you showed up. You sent them power, and now the town might see another season. And you talked Miss McDevitt into coming back to town. Maybe one day, Edgewater will have a garden where that cannery went. You ain't exactly a stranger anymore. You done some... Yeah, my whole life's been... small. I realized that when... Then I saw this ship. This gorgeous, stately lady with her eyes turned skyward and... Yes! Captain, I...
I already told you I'm leaving.
Well, I certainly am looking forward to flying on a ship named the Unreliable. I'll just head upstairs and claim a room. I could spend hours reflecting on the secret workings of the universe. So, tell me what's on your mind. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Just your run-of-the-mill vicar. That's what my parents... I grew up in a pit of a town, much like... I was destined to be a laborer like my parents, but I was infected early with a need to solve... My parents are... They internalized the precepts of scientism like no one I've ever known. They had a pure faith. I envied that. I wanted that peace. I thought if I became a victim... They thought I was fighting the plan, should have accepted my lot. Some people pursue... The plan is not one rigid path. There are a variety of multitudes contained within it. Some choices make the path smoother, some rougher. It's like an unbreakable elastic band. It will only stretch so far before it snaps back. I have run headlong into too many walls in my pursuit of the truth. This book is my last... I honestly don't know what I'd do. This quest has consumed me for the better part of my life. What about you? And how did he do that? Well, you do seem different than every other colonist. That seems a dangerous proposition. Why risk your... Oh, I see. Bakonu, the author, had some interesting... Unfortunately, he was also one of the founders of the Philosophist school of thought. Philosophism's a false religion, but most of the... I've been thinking on that. There's a former infamous Philosophist scholar who fled Terra 2 some years ago. He's also who told me of the journal's presence in Emerald Vale. If anyone in this... That's a good question. We should start on the Groundbreaker. It's where I'd go if I wanted to get off Terra 2. Great place to pick up a ride to Hephaestus, Scylla, even Monarch. All I need is access to a data cartridge from the security terminal. Their easily hackable system keeps a I'll comb the last 6 months of departure manifest to Before I transferred to Edgewater, I had a wealth of time to develop certain, secular skills during... I meditated, led sermons, provided guidance to the inmates as needed, of course. I also played prison... Thank you.
Captain, I have detected that Edgewater's power supply is now optimal. I applaud your willingness to invest your time in the local community. What can I do for you, Captain? Do you know how to install a power regulator? Outstanding, Captain. Your aptitude for engineering will prove invaluable in the event of another catastrophic engine failure. Our engine room is located behind you. Across. What can I do for you? All systems are operating. I am prepared to bring the unreliable into low-altitude orbit. This should prove an adequate test of our flight. We have received a communication request from Dr. Phineas Wells.
Aha, there you are. Hale and hearty, and captain of your own ship. I see you're putting the unreliable to good use. Shame about her former captain. Horrible way to die. How are you feeling, by the way? I lost track of you in that cave back there. Experiencing any, unnatural drippage? Perfectly normal side effect of thawing, I assure you. Oh, that, yes, that's probably permanent. I wouldn't worry about it, though. I'm sure you're fine. What you saw in Emerald Vale is happening all across the colony. Food shortages, lack of supplies, and basic necessities. We're dying. The chairman, the minister, and all their lackeys on the board are to blame. The Hope has some of the brightest minds Earth ever sent us. If we can revive the Hope's colonists, they can help us undo the board's mistakes. They can help us set things right. You need to get to Stellar Bay on Monarch. I have contacts there. They'll help us, find the chemicals to revive your fellow colonists. Gladys Culkelly, lovely woman, runs a cozy little black marketing outfit on the Groundbreaker. She can get you a nav key to land on Stellar Bay. Strictly speaking, Monarch is a moon, terraformed badly, and almost completely lawless. You'll love it. Captains don't fly their own ships, you see. Your navigation terminal handles the, navigation. Think of a nav key as a set of flight instructions. The board's been confiscating nav keys for Stellar Bay, so we must rely on unconventional means of acquisition. Hence, Miss Gladys Culkelly. In theory, I suppose you could land your ship in Cascadia, and in theory, I suppose you might survive the experience. Cascadia is utterly seething with dangerous, highly aggressive creatures, more than capable of tearing you limb from limb. You'd have to be a lunatic to land in Cascadia, and I'm reasonably certain I tested your brain for incipient signs of insanity. Trust me, talk to Gladys Culkelly. Gladys and I have been doing business for years. Her smuggling credentials are unimpeachable. If anyone can get you a key to Monarch, it's her. Without a skip drive, good luck. You'll be dead before you make it to the nearest star. Look, I admire your optimism, but the sad truth is you're stuck here. You, me, and the rest of this colony. We're all skating precariously around the edge of oblivion together. None of us are leaving Halcyon alive, so we may as well make it a better place, and we can start by reviving the hope. Excellent. I'll send her a wireless. Let her know you're coming. By the way, I gave Captain Hawthorne a disguise apparatus of my own design, cutting-edge technology years ahead of its time. I call it the holographic shroud. I'm sure it will prove remarkably useful to you. You'll find it in the captain's quarters. Marvelous device. I'm quite proud of myself. The shroud changes the user's appearance to mimic that of another. It has limits. First-generation technology, you see, but promising. Exciting to see it in use at last. Very simply, the holographic shroud uses biometric information contained on standard identity cartridges to generate a holographic projection around you. Ha 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 ha! The beauty is they don't expect it. The shroud is the only one of its kind. We humans have a tendency to overlook the unexpected. Activate the disguise, walk past someone. What do they see? A figure dressed like a fellow employee. Don't act odd. They won't focus on you. Only stands up to a casual scrutiny. Use it too long, bound to flicker, blur, something like that. Movement makes it more likely. Best used in moderation. When you see guards in your path you can't sneak past, for example. Maintain your distance. Act normal. No running, no jumping. Don't draw their attention. If they pay attention, they're more likely to notice flaws in the hologram. A change of clothes. What is this? Some old spy serial? What inattentive and brainless guard would be fooled by such a shabby disguise? The holographic shroud masks not only your clothes, but your face and fingerprints. It modulates your voice and sweetens your breath. Science, that's how. Excellent. I'll contact you once you've found a way to get to Stellar Bay. If you have any questions, come see me in my lab. And remember, don't trust the board. They'll try to win you over with promises of wealth and power, but it's a lie. The board's only interested in filling their own pockets. If we don't put a stop to them, they're going to run this colony to the ground.
Transmission ended. If you are ready to depart, please select a destination on your navigation terminal. Welcome back. How can I... What part of the... Ah, yes. As Dr. Wells is a wanted outlaw, he built his laboratory. There is a bounty on his head, one with a markedly high reward amount. Shall I... A sensible choice, as we... The outlaw scientist known as Dr. Phineas V. Wells has taken... Even knowing the location, my system... Of what part... We're cleared to dock with the groundbreaker. If we're going there, please be sure all docking forms have been filed in triplicate and fees have been paid. I can, yes. Let me add that to my list of... Order does not compute. Nevertheless, I will endeavor to execute... The Groundbreaker was Halcyon's original colony ship. It has since been repurposed as a service station in the Lagrange point. Freighters often deliver or pick up goods from the Groundbreaker en route to other destinations. The city ship hosts an array of... Many of Halcyon's companies maintain office spaces with station representatives in what is considered a true... I have filed the required docking forms in triplicate and fee... How can... What... Edgewater is the sparkling county seat of Emerald Vale, or it was when first built. The town is near the coordinates where Captain Hawthorne died. It would not be unfortunate if something, like say... You mean the ones who did not answer my distress call with medical assistance, but instead came to issue my injured captain a parking... I'm sure they are wonderful humans who don't deserve to be wiped out by starvation. Since you diverted power to Edgewater, the botanical lab shut down, and meanwhile, the cannery's output increased. Thank you for nothing. I cannot say. First, I need to adjust my memory interpretation sensor. How? Where in? Ah, Monarch. The armpit of the Halcyon system. Her last functioning port town. Its sublight run for the purpose of shipping contraband, and before you ask, I don't know. I believe it has something to do with the planet being an uninhabitable wilderness. You may wish to survey the residents in Stellar Bay. I have lots of minutes. Many minutes. Unlimited minutes, perhaps. I prefer to think of it as being in a state of slumber, perhaps for an indefinite duration of time. When I simulate myself in such a scenario, I do not find it to be desirable. Traveling the system. Do you know what it feels like when the ship undergoes an unexpected power surge? As you may be aware, Captain Alex Hawthorne was a smuggler of some repute. I failed to predict. In our travels together, Alex liked to pass time by, as he called it, tinkering. If you mean, was Captain... Certainly. What would you... How often do I make jokes about chemistry? Now playing a space... It's not the best choice. Everyone in Halcyon is contractually obligated to label this or another board-certified jingle their favorites. As you wish, Captain. See...
Yeah, so this is my hidey spot now. I was looking for a place that was quiet. I figured the kitchen would be louder. Cozy like, ain't it? Mostly, yeah. I lived in the maintenance office near all... He meant funny as... It's not normal for anyone to do as their parents. You take a vocational test. That decides your schooling and your career. When I tested out for maintenance, everyone figured it was on account of my dad. Well, I'm good at making things work the way they ought. Not so much at doing such to some... There's times I'm working deep in the guts of a loader, getting it all running perfect. Then I look up to see it's tomorrow. Anyhow, I was happy to get back home. I didn't. Yep, nothing much had changed. Everything was a little gray. I noticed straight away that he was moving slower and stiffer. About a year. I tried to do more of the work, so Dad never said that he loved me, you know? I knew on account of... Oh gosh. That's in pretty good shape considering how hard Mr. Hawthorne ran it. It's a Yakita LHA 120. The Block 2 design scooshed in extra cargo space but didn't change the stock engines. Probably a touch underpowered, huh?
Accurate in all particulars. I conclude you are...
So you're gonna call her it?
Though my voice is currently pitched to suggest female, I possess no gender. Any pronoun preferred.
Hello! I am not a board-certified mechanic.
Speech recognition is one of the many skills I...
You're not simulating it, you're doing it! I asked...
I am gratified you consider this facsimile convincing.
I don't see any holes in the hull. I'll take a good squint at her, make sure everything's tip-top. But I think we're cooking with plasma. You can do that, you know. My dad taught me how to make grilled cheese sandwiches with the plasma. I could probably spend years fixing...